All right, so let's, in the last part of this session, we're going to discuss file permissions and directory permissions. So for that, I think I'm going to switch back to my slides here for a second. See, so all of the stuff that we have been talking about basically is both in the slides as well as in the handouts. So you should be able to find all that we discussed today in one of these two files. So this is a fairly simple concept once you get the gist of it. So think of these users as different subsets. So all basically represents the universe of users, everyone who has an account on the Kill Devil cluster. Let's say I'm user 1. Now as user 1, I'm obviously part of the all universe since I have an account on Kill Devil. But at the same time, I may be part of a group or more than one group. So there are 3 hierarchical levels in terms of access that are available on Unix. At the lowest level, you are the user. In turn, you are part of a group. So when the system administrators create an account for you, they will generally assign you a group. You can be part of more than one group, and that's why I've added an S. And then ultimately, all the users and all the groups are part of the universe of users on this server. So there are discrete permissions that are divided into 3 different levels. So there are going to be permissions that are associated with you as a user. There are permissions that are associated with specific groups. And then there are permissions that sort of apply to everybody. So in this case, you can see that user 2 is part of group 3. That means user 2 will have access not only to whatever they own, but they can access resources that are assigned to group 3 as well. But since this group, since this user is not part of group 1 or group 2, they will not be able to access resources that are designated as for group 1 or group 2. This is how system administrators are going to restrict access to, for example, file systems, for example, different directories. So depending on which user group you are part of, you will have access to some, but not all of the resources that are available on the system. Only what's called the root user or the main administrative user on the system is able to access all of the resources that are available on the system. Generally on a large system like the Kill Devil clusters, very few people will have those administrative privileges. We will not be able to make any changes that essentially will affect all the users of the system for obviously important reasons. So is this concept of how the users are assigned to groups and groups to the entire universe clear? Right. So as I said, whenever we do a long listing, you're going to see that there's a lot of information that gets printed to the screen. We'll start here at the right hand side. This is the actual file name or a directory name, the timestamp that we looked at, the size of the file or directory. And once we reach this column, this is where it starts showing you the membership or the group that you are a member of. So if we go back to our live session here, and if I do a long listing, I can see that currently I am working as a member of the group other. I'm not sure what group you guys are members of. You may be members of either student, I think they have groups called faculty, you are still other? Everyone is in the other group? Faculty? Yeah. So depending on your, you are in faculty? Employee, yeah. So there are a certain set of standard group assignments that I think they look at the position you have and accordingly assign you to the right group by default. The column that is immediately to the left of the group column is your username. So this is where your username is going to be in this list. And as we keep going left, you can see that there is a set of 10 characters here. And we'll just walk through the 10 characters in this cartoon here. So the very first character shows you the kind of file or a directory. So whenever you have a D there, that means the entry that you're looking at is actually a directory. In our color VT100 terminal, it's also signified by this blue colored listing. So that's telling us that this is a directory. The first set of permissions, so for every file or a directory, you're going to have 3 permissions. You will have read permissions, short for R. You will have write permissions, short for a W. And execute permissions, which are signified by the X. So RWX, this set of 3 characters is telling you what sort of permissions you have on that particular listing. So the first set of 3 characters that follows the first bit here are user level permissions. You as the user are always going to have read, write and execute permissions for the files you own. The next set of 3 characters here is the group level permissions. So you as a member of other group can access resources. So you can access any other directory that is assigned to the other group. You can read it, you can execute contents in it, but you will not be able to write to the directory that is assigned to the other user group. So a dash means you don't have permission. So if I have a dash there, that means I can only read or execute that file, but I can't make any changes to it. And then the last set of 3 is basically for all users. So that's the third hierarchy that we have. So we have 3 different kinds of permissions assigned to 3 different levels. And that's what this set of 10 characters signifies. You've got to be very careful with file permissions, because you can indeed lock yourself out by removing read permissions, for example, for your own files. And in that case, only a system administrator will essentially be able to go back in and add read permissions for everybody. So in this case, the way you